Y'all look. Jesus, is that you?
This is he.
He is walking on water.
I tried to tell y'all.
Is you walking on water?
Water.
He is showing out. Wait, is the fish kissing your feet?
They might as well.
Come on, Messiah. So the man above is your dad.
That's what I've been trying to tell y'all for the longest.
That's why I love you, Jesus.
Whatever, Judas. Wait.
Oh, what was that about? I don't know, child, but show your hair, Jesus. Yeah.
Oh man, hold up. I wasn't prepared, niggas. I wasn't prepared for that shit to hit up right at that time. But yo, man, what's going on, everybody?
Y'all look. Jesus, is that you?
Wait a minute.
This is he.
He is walking on water.
I tried to tell y'all.
Is you walking on water?
Water.
Wait, is the fish kissing your feet?
They might as well.
Come on, Messiah.
Okay, that shit just took over the whole damn podcast. But yo, man, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Spann Report podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann. This is episode number 330 of the report. And yo, man, technical difficulties and shit. Facebook doing whatever the fuck it wants to do. Shout out to my man S. Dilla Thomas, man, for that shit. I saw he had posted it on Facebook earlier from TikTok, man. Hey, man, TikTok is the shit. I gotta say it. I felt like your man Spann had got old. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I had reached like peak internet. Like I was like, yo, I got enough social media apps and shit like that. But man, they be doing some dope shit on TikTok, bro. Like real talk. And shout out to my man Dilla, because my man Dilla is like really blowing up over the Chicago history post that he does on TikTok. Man, he's been getting a lot of recognition for that. Kudos to that brother. Salute to that brother. Love you, man. It's good when you see your people's doing good, man. Real talk. And it's like, you know, you get real prideful over your folks, man, when they're doing good. So yeah, man, shout out to him for that. But yo, man, like I said, this is episode 330 of the report. And before we get into everything that we're going to talk about tonight, I got to remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Spann Report podcast and let your voice be heard. You can go ahead and hit us up at our hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave us those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. You can also email us here at feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Go ahead, leave us those emails. Of course, those emails will get right here, replies are here live as well. I got a couple of emails that I need to read back and respond to tonight. So we got some listener feedback. So that's good. That's good. Also, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and or Stitcher Radio. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get ready here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who goes about the business of doing that. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network. Also, you can hit up our website at www.thespannreport.com. You can go there. You can watch replays of the show. You can donate to the show as often as you like, as much as you like, and we really do appreciate everybody who goes about the business of doing that. Also, you can go there, get some stuff out of our store, man. We got merch, we got t-shirts, we got face masks, we got hoodies, we've got coffee mugs, we got sports bottles, man. We got just about everything you really want. You know what I'm saying? We even got like little sleeves for your iPad and shit. And I don't even have an iPad, but we got sleeves for that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and get yourself some merch out of the Spann Report Podcast Network store. It really does help us continue to do what it is what we do here, and we appreciate everybody who does that. And also, you can become a Patreon patron and help us continue to do this show here live on not only YouTube, but Facebook, Twitch, and Periscope. So for those of you who are donated to the Spann Report Podcast Patreon page, man, we really do salute you guys, man. They are the golden circle of the Spann Report Podcast, man. Shout out to you guys. And for those of you guys who want to continue to help us to do this live the way that we do it, yeah, man, just become a Patreon patron and contribute in that way, man. Every dime helps, and we appreciate everybody who does that, man. Real talk. But yo, man, it's been a busy week, man. It's been a busy week. We got a lot of stuff we got to get into, man. We got some royal news to talk about. We got some domestic news to talk about. We got some silly shit to talk about. We got some political shit to talk about. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. We do. But I got a few things, man. I got a few random thoughts that things I have been kind of like thinking about over the course of the last week or so since the last time I talked to you guys. And first thing that I kind of want to talk to you guys about was Coming to America, man. Coming to America. That movie, me and my wife, we watched that movie, I want to say last weekend. We watched it at home and stuff like that. And my wife kind of like made an allusion to this last week, and I agree with her wholeheartedly when it comes to this. I'm putting my own little spin on this, but I kind of feel like some of the like the reception to coming to America, like the reception probably would have been different if like the theaters would have been open and folks would have had like, you know, it'd have been like a theater filled with black folks and like we all saw that shit together as opposed to us just like being in the crib and like just kind of watching it offhand. Like, yeah, I guess I'll stream this shit. You know what I'm saying? I kind of feel like with the amount of black people that were in that movie, like black royalty folks that were like, that were, everybody was in this fucking movie, man. Gladys Knight was in this movie, man. Like even the twins, like my name is Peaches and I'm the best. All the DJs want to feel my breath. Even they was in the movie, man. I kind of feel like if black folks had an opportunity to be in the motherfucking movie theater and watch this as a family, a lot of the receptions earlier on would have probably been a little bit different, man. Now I know. You're gonna always have some naysayer niggas, man. Like niggas love to be like the contrary, and there's a lot of contrarians for contrary's sake. But I'm just saying, man, I kind of feel like if we'd have been able to, as a family, to like kind of go to the movie theaters and the theaters give you a better experience. I'm just keeping it honest with y'all. I kind of feel like, yo, we'd been able to be in the theaters with a whole bunch of black folks and we got the sounds, we got that big ass screen and you got people that have probably been drinking and you got the popcorn going and the whole none, the atmosphere, like the atmosphere in which you watch the film kind of helps with the way you receive it. And so, yeah, man, the earlier reviews of the film were like, you know, man, this movie was trash. I should have cut it off 5 minutes before. And I never like all that stuff. I get it. Some folks ain't gonna like it, but I also kind of feel like some of those earlier reviews, I really feel like it's a product of people are just at home and they tired of being at home. And had we been able to watch that film in a theater, it'd have been a hell of a lot better. The reviews of that movie would have been a hell of a lot better. And as you've seen more people come out and say that they've seen the film, they're like, man, I actually kind of like this movie, despite, you know, some of the negative press that it's gotten initially. So yeah, man, that's one of the things I was thinking about. Also, man, you niggas can't hold water. Y'all couldn't wait to tell everybody y'all watched it first. Y'all didn't like it, man. Fuck y'all. Right? All these niggas that couldn't wait to watch it to tell us it was shit. Like, man, fuck y'all, man. I mean, I got some chuckles out of that. It wasn't the same movie that, like, you know, in 1988, like the same shit that was flying in 1988 ain't flying in 2021, bro. It just ain't. It's just not. And it was a PG-13 rated film. They didn't even go all the way R-rated. So, like, you knew it was going to be a different vibe. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, that was one of the things I was just kind of thinking about, man. Coming to America, I think the reviews of that movie would have been a lot different had black folks been able to, like, just go to the theaters and go see that as a group, like, real talk. That's one of the things I was thinking about. Another thing I was kind of thinking about was, you know, every now and again, I see a lot of, like, posts on social media about, you know, what a real man is supposed to do, or what a real woman is supposed to do, and like who defines that? Like a real man does this, a real woman does that. Y'all need to become real men and real women, yada 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 yada. I'm gonna just say this right now. I've been thinking about this, man. If your manhood or womanhood is predicated upon the opinions of some other motherfuckers, are you really the man or the woman that you think you are? Like, think about that for a second. Like, if everything you do concerning who you are as a person is predicated upon the thoughts and the whims of other people, are you truly the man or the woman you thought you were? Or are you just performing manhood or womanhood for the opinions of other people? Right? I always thinking about, you know, stuff like that, man, because you see this all the time, and you just like relationship advice and stuff from people who've been in some fucked up situations. And that's not to say that people who've been in some fucked up situations don't have things to tell you, but when you watch a lot of the stuff that's kind of flies down like the social media landscape, man, I just always just kind of think about that shit. Like, man, like, why are you like defining who you are as a person based upon what this other motherfucker got to say? Man, fuck them. Like, who the fuck are they? You know what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck are they, man? Like, hey, you are you. Be you to the fullest extent of that. And stop worrying so much about what these other motherfuckers are thinking about. Because, again, as I said last week, the world will not hesitate to tell you that you ain't shit. So every day you got an opportunity to tell the world they don't know who they fucking with. Stop. I'm just saying, just Uncle Spann out here like preaching and shit. These are things that I just be thinking about and whatever. So that's something I was put that out there. You know. Another thing I was thinking about, man. So we've been talking a little bit about Pepe Le Pew, right? So, Pepe Le Pew has been in the news, man, because motherfuckers is upset that Pepe Le Pew was being canceled out of the Space Jam movie. And it's been weird. It's been kind of weird to watch motherfuckers, man, like sit around and talk about how much like cancel culture has been like getting rid of all of the things that we grew up with. That's pretty soon y'all gonna tell me nigga Bluto need to be canceled, nigga. Like, I mean, you know, maybe. Right? I mean, think about this for a second, man. Off top, one of the things I always think, like when people start talking about cancel culture, like it's really just like motherfuckers that are scared of consequences being meted out. That's really what it's about. Cancel culture. Like cancel culture is like, yo, man, you said some fucked up shit and people want to express their opinions about the fucked up shit you said. You might even lose a job over some of the fucked up shit you just said, right? So like it's the consequences around it's the consequences around your actions, right? And people always want to talk about accountability until it's about them being held accountable, right? But Pepe Le Pew, like now Charles Blow wrote an op-ed in the New York Times, and folks were like trying to credit Charles Blow with this newfound fucking reasoning for Pepe Le Pew being pulled from the Space Jam movie. Dave Chappelle said that shit years ago. And I believe it was like the Killing Him Softly stand-up special or whatever about Pepe Le Pew being a rapey motherfucker. And y'all didn't have the same level of fucking disdain for what Dave Chappelle said. And he was essentially saying the same goddamn thing. Pepe Le Pew was a rapey motherfucker, man. Like Pepe Le Pew would not take no for a goddamn answer. And truthfully speaking, I find it ironic, man, that like you got people who would talk about the cartoons teaching kids how to be gay, but then at the same time saying that Pepe Le Pew couldn't be saying that like or couldn't be perpetuating rape culture. Like, make up your mind, man. Are the cartoons influential or are they not? Right? Now, for those of you who would talk about like Bluto, like, yo, my man, like think about this for a second, man. Bluto like was like, if we really go back and we think about this, as we we were kids then, a lot of the imagery and shit was kind of over our heads. But as you go back and you look at this shit years later as an adult and you done live some fucking life, man. Like you look at Bluto like, damn, man, Bluto was just like this ex-boyfriend, like this stalkerish ass ex-boyfriend who was like really on some like, if I can't have you, nobody can have you. And I'm going to choke the shit out you to keep you from being with anybody else. That was Bluto. Now, is that really the message that you want to send to your children in 2021? Now, I mean, it might have been like, past, it might have been cool in like 1935, 1944 or some shit like that when, people were like kind of okay with men putting their hands on women and that sort of shit. It's not going to fly in 2021. It's weird, like listening to niggas who be talking about like, yo, man, when you know better, you do better. And then when you say, all right, so we know better, Bluto be putting his hands on olive oil, man. I don't know, man. You keep talking. You taking away my childhood, B. You taking away my childhood. Like, nigga, make up your mind. All right, and then on top of that, like, y'all don't even really be attached to these motherfucking characters until somebody that supposedly canceled them. You weren't even thinking about Bluto. Right? Y'all niggas really wasn't thinking about Pepe Le Pew until Warner Brothers was like, you know what, man? I think this Pepe Le Pew character just kind of run its course. We might just go ahead and cancel him right now. And suddenly, everybody and their mama is a goddamn Pepe Le Pew fan. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Y'all ain't even, I put $100 on it. Ain't nobody gonna be talking about Pepe Le Pew next week. Nobody. I said nobody gonna be talking about Pepe Le Pew next week. That's how I know. That's how I know it's like all the other niggas that's pretending to be mad about the shit. It's bullshit, bro. It's bullshit. But yo, those have been my random thoughts, man. Real talk. Now, we did get some listener feedback, man. We got some listener feedback from some folks, and I feel like it's only appropriate that we get to these folks who have been listening to the show, who have been giving their opinions about what's said on the show, and I appreciate y'all, man. I love y'all, man. Real talk. Even if y'all talking some bullshit, I love you because you even. So here's the thing. Even when you're talking some bullshit, I know I done said something that has sparked you to be like, you know what? I need to tell this nigga something. This nigga think he know everything. I need to tell this nigga that he don't know everything. So I appreciate you, man, because you feel like I know that feeling. I know that feeling when you sitting up and you watching somebody talk some shit and you like, man, this nigga don't know what he talking about. I'm gonna tell him. And then you get on your phone and you start typing some shit. You start typing real hard. I know that feeling, man. I know that feeling. But yeah, but yo, man, we got some listener emails, man. So let me go ahead and pull these up. So I can read these here. The first email we got here, comes from the homie Dre. Dre writes here to say, "What's up, Mr. Spann? Thanks for sharing how you became a homeowner and the process you went through. I owned a home for 20 years, but had to sell it when I got divorced. Oh man, I'm sorry. He said, I'm currently living in an apartment and I may look into purchasing a home again one day. Thanks for being one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. Peace, Dre." Hey, Dre, I appreciate you, brother, for writing in. Yo, man, like that's really the whole purpose of even doing that episode, was to like kind of speak life into that, right? Because like I said, man, so many people, when you talk about trying to buy a home, when you start talking about the processes that you go through in order to buy a home, a lot of it is rooted in like, man, how hard it is. And it repels people from even taking the chance, or even if they're qualified to do it, right? Like, you got people who are qualified to buy a home who could go out and like really go out there and buy their own home right now. But they've been taught, that like every time they've heard anything about buying a house, everything they've always heard was like, man, how hard it is, man. Oh, I don't know if I can do it. Or you don't want to buy a home in this market, man. Or like, there's so much negative rhetoric around the processes of buying a home. And it's not to tell people that, like, if you're dealing with some issues, if you have some dings on your credit, or if you have like some financial shortcomings right now, is not to say that you aren't dealing with any issues. And that's one of the things I wanted to reiterate, is not to say that you don't have any issues, but what I'm saying is like, yo, there are things that you could do to put you in a position to own your own shit. That's all I was really trying to get over to folks. Like, I'm not like, yo, man, you need to go buy a house. If you comfortable renting, trust and believe me, go ahead and keep renting that motherfucker. I'm just saying that, like, yo, so many people for so long keep reiterating these points of, I can't buy a house, and they're actually in a position to do so. So that's pretty much why I even bothered to do that episode, because, I'm excited about, being a new homeowner and shit, but also like, yo, man, it's not just me. If I can do this shit, your ass can do it too. Cause trust and believe, your man Spann came from some shit, right? Your man Spann came from some shit. So if I can do it, your ass definitely can do it too, man. And we got some folks in the chat room, man. We got some folks in the chat room. My man Trey up in here gonna talk your shit, Swami. This is how you know it's the nigga that like know me from like back in the day. This is the only nigga I know that still calls me Swami. Now, I'm gonna give y'all the backstory of Swami, right? For you niggas that like thinks, it's ground span now, but it was air span back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And this nigga gave me this nickname Swami because I would jump so high and for so long that it felt like I was floating on the goddamn magic carpet. I'm just saying, your boy Spann got up there, baby. You know what I'm saying? But he the only nigga that still called me that. So he the only nigga that still called me that. So shout out to my man Trey, man. I'm in the chat room talking shit, man. I appreciate you, brother. Real talk. And I still got the yellow sticker on my take that shit off, bro. That's another thing. See, it's all about the information here on the Spann Report, bro. It's all about the information. You know what? You're not gonna go to jail if you take that yellow sticker off your TV, man. You're not gonna go to jail. It's just gonna real talk. Like, do you really need to be reminded by how much money this TV is costing you when you turn it on? Do you really need to be reminded of that? Because that's all that yellow sticker is telling you, like, oh man. So basically, what you need the Energy Star. Okay, you need the Energy Star. And on this Energy Star, we're gonna tell you, like, this motherfucking TV uses about 13 kilowatts of energy in about 5 hours. Right? Like, are you really calculating that shit? Nah, man, take that shit off. It fucks up with the aesthetic of the screen, man. Take that shit off. It's distracting. Can't watch the motherfucking Marvel movies with this big ass yellow like sticker on there. Come on, man. Take that shit off, man. Come on, man. What you doing, brother? Damn. And we got Annette in the chat room. How you doing, Annette? I appreciate you watching, man. Real talk. But so that was one of the emails that we got here in here on the Spann Report. We got another email here. I don't know why my damn phone won't let me in. All right. So the next email we got, and this also is about home ownership. And we get this from Reggie. Reggie writes in and says, Spann, I know you were trying to help, but that episode you did on home ownership in a way just kind of solidified why so many people believe their being able to buy a home will forever be out of reach. I'm happy for you that you were able to buy a home, and I can tell the feeling must be exciting. It's is what's been told to us is the American dream. Excuse me. But you said your in-laws gave you $2,000 as a gift. Lots of people don't have that at their disposal, nor do they have a 401k to draw from either. So what are they to do? I think the answer that a lot of folks are looking for, I think that's the answer a lot of folks are looking for. And unfortunately, you didn't provide the answer to that either. I still fuck with you, though, because I trust your intentions. I just think you missed the mark on this one, Reggie. Well, so here's the thing, man. I was basically trying to be transparent in the processes that I went through to buy the house, right? I understand that a lot of folks maybe don't have someone that they can call that has $2,000 at arm's reach that they can like just kind of give away, right? Or like gift in a moment like that. I understand that. I get it. And I also understand a lot of folks maybe don't have a 401k that they can draw from. I understand all of that. One of the things about this is that like when you start talking about home ownership, first of all, and I don't know if I talk much about this, but like just being financially ready to buy a home, man. And that's really what I was kind of like getting at. Like, yo, I went through a process. Like, at the time when when I first started, like even with my with my credit shit, like trying to get my credit together, like I was making pretty good money, right? I was making pretty good money, but my credit was trash, bro, because first of all, I didn't have a lot of the information that I needed. I didn't have the knowledge that I needed as far as like what it was that was on my credit report, what I needed to pay, who I didn't need to pay, what affected my credit and how it affected my credit in such and such way. Like it was a bunch of different things that were going on with my credit and everything else, despite the fact that I had like a job that was paying me pretty good, right? Job paying me pretty good. But also I need you to understand that when I say I came from some shit, I came from some shit. Whereas like not even like, let's say like 10, 12 years ago, I was washing my ass out of a bowl, bruh, where I didn't have gas, where my gas was cut off and I didn't have heat, where I'm like trying to figure out whether or not I could pay this landlord and get groceries. So I know what it is to be on your knuckles, right? So understand when I say that I understand when folks are like, yo, man, the home ownership thing, I don't see how it's feasible for me in my situation right now. I get it. I thoroughly get that. What I was really trying to speak to was for those folks who are ready right now, who are in a position right now, who don't think that they are capable of doing it, that they could actually do it, that is within their reach. And I want us to not to stop speaking fear into our situations. That's really what I was trying to get at. Stop speaking fear into it, because I honestly feel like if my mindset had been right, had my finances been right, had my credit been right, I probably could have been here a few years ago, right? I didn't think I could do this. For a long time, I never thought I could do this. And before I knew it, shit, man, a month and a half, like in the starting the process, boom, like it was done. It was done. Like from calling the people on the phone, like from putting in like, yo, I'm thinking about buying a house, to like, boom, the offer is accepted and boom, you in this motherfucker. Like, so I just really wanted to reiterate that people could do it. That's all I'm saying, man. I'm trying to speak life into folks, man. I'm trying to like bring folks up. Like if your man Spann could do it. Like when I first started this podcast, man, I was sitting in the goddamn apartment in the heart of the hood making like, y'all just don't know some of the things your man Spann went through. So I'm saying as it's been 10 years since I've been doing this show. So like y'all pretty much have kind of seen, if you've been following me for like the last 10 years, man, you've kind of seen you've seen the growth in the way I've lived and the way I've thought about things. Like you see a lot of the changes in attitude and opinion. Like all of that is me trying to be as open as I can be with you guys about what I'm going through. And, also while we talk about some of the things that are going on in the world, but yo, man, I hate that you thought that I missed I missed the mark, but and I appreciate that you like trust my intentions, but really that's really what it was. It was me trying to just speak life into folks like, yo, man, if I can do this, you can also do this. So I appreciate you, Reggie, for writing in, brother. I really do, and I hope to hear from you again soon, man, because it's been a while, man. I was like, man, whatever happened to Reggie? But my man Reggie wrote in, and he was checking your boy. You know what I'm saying? So I still appreciate you, man. Real talk. Another email we got here. This comes from someone who's a Robert H. Robert H writes in and say, I found your show on Twitch. Okay. We just started like broadcasting on Twitch and shit too. It says, but I subscribed on YouTube because I'm not on Twitch all that much. I can tell you're a lib. All right. And I watch a bunch of libs just to see the opposite side of the political spectrum. Just to see how the opposite side of the political spectrum is thinking about conservatives. Wait. I'm sorry. Is thinking about the issues. But I couldn't help but notice that you spend a lot of time repudiating Republicans and conservatives and calling us all kinds of racist dummies and mocking us when we give our opinions on things happening in the world. Not just some of the time, but all of the time. Just like you did recently with Meghan McCain, as she recently pointed out, how Joe Biden reacted to Texas lifting his mask mandate by calling it Neanderthal thinking. So my question to you is this. How do you expect conservatives to come to the table and even consider your points if you're constantly attacking us, belittling our thinking, and accusing us all the time of being racist and Neanderthals? Now, I thought about this, and I thought about, kind of hitting him with the...
First of all, fuck you.
But I'm not. I'm actually kind of glad that somebody from the opposite side of the track, so to speak, actually thought to like email a nigga and like seemed as though they were sincere about trying to figure out why we talk about conservatives and Republicans in the ways in which we do. Now, if you've been following this show for any length of time, man, I feel like I kind of lay out quite plainly why some of the ways in which Republicans operate and do the things they do, I feel like are pretty asinine, kind of fucked up, pretty racist and everything else. When we think about some of these stances that the Republican Party has taken over the course of the last, I don't know, let's just say for the last 5 years, right? Since Donald Trump has become pretty much the standard bearer of the Republican Party and the conservative movement and everything else, right? The amount of races that he's animated, the amount of hate crimes that have been that have happened since he became, since he was president of the United States. When you see some of the rhetoric that is being spouted, like when you see some of the legislation that is coming out, like even now with like down in Georgia, and not just Georgia, but like states all over the country. I believe Iowa just did some voter ID laws or changing the voting rules after they lost an election. Arizona, for instance, attempted to try to make it as though like if the Republican legislature didn't like the results of the voting populace for the president in a presidential election, how they was like, yo, well, we can set that aside and then we can appoint our electors how we want to. Like when you think about the amount of polling places that they want to close, the amount of restrictions that they want to put on voting, and most of it is like, yo, truthfully speaking, they will affect a lot of Republican voters much more than they will. Well, I take that back. They will affect a lot of Republican voters at the cost of, or while they're targeting African-American voters, right? So while they're targeting African-American voters, and while African-American voters are disproportionately affected by some of the policies that they're trying to put forth, they're also hindering the white Republican vote that would also like kind of go their way, right? And so they've been willing to sacrifice some of those votes in order to disenfranchise Black people more specifically. And so, yo, man, as a matter of fact, while I'm thinking about this, let me pull this up, man, because this is actually something that happened over the course of, over the course of like the last week. There's a Senator, Ron Johnson, I believe he's from Wisconsin, Trump supporter, Republican, right? Ron Johnson was talking about the Capitol riot that happened on January 6th. And this, I want you to listen to like how he's like kind of framing this. So I'm gonna pull this up for you guys so you guys can kind of watch along with your man Spann. But check this out. Listen to how Ron Johnson talks about what happened during the Capitol riots and how he perceived that event. Check this out, y'all.
White supremacists, they don't really believe that, but they know there's a percentage of those that they're telling that will believe it. That's really the game, right? I mean, there's no way people that you go to work with every day really think that you and I are white supremacists because we believe in conservative values, right?
Well, no, and let's face it, I'm also criticized because I've made the comment that on January 6th, I never felt threatened, because I didn't. And mainly because I knew that even though those thousands of people there were marching to the Capitol, were trying to pressure people like me to vote the way they wanted me to vote, I knew those are people that love this country, that truly respect law enforcement.
They respect law enforcement, yet they were beating the fuck out of law enforcement. They killed law enforcement while they were there. They were like breaking and entering into the nation's capital. Like, they respect law enforcement though. Like, this is the rhetoric that a lot of people on the right kind of promote.
Would never do anything to break a law.
They broke laws like a motherfucker that day. Think about this shit. Like, they broke laws like a motherfucker that day. Like, this is the shit that a lot of people on this side of the aisle, we see this kind of shit right here while you're talking about while you coming at me talking about Neanderthal thinking and belittling and like being racist and everything else. Like, these are the people who go out and speak for your side. Okay.
So I wasn't concerned. Now, had the tables been turned, and Joe, this got me in trouble. Had the tables been turned and President Trump won the election, and those were tens of thousands of Black Lives Matter and Antifa protesters, I might have been a little concerned.
Wow. It's a big statement, but it's a true statement. We see the recent history.
Well, and let's face it, people didn't board up their storefronts in metropolitan areas in case Joe Biden won. And now you take a look at what's happening in Minneapolis with the trial.
All right. So yeah, man. When you've got people like that being your spokespersons, when you look at some of the policies that the Republican Party are putting in place right now, despite the fact that they lost, man, here's the thing, especially when it comes like voter suppression is like a really big issue here on this show. But one of the things that like I want you guys to understand is that when we start talking about like the voter suppression, is that like they are targeting Black folks, right? And I feel as though if Republicans really didn't want to be seen as racist, for one, they wouldn't have so many racists on their side of the aisle. Racists wouldn't fuck with them. Like it says a lot when the racist people feel like you are like your party is where they need to be going, right? But the other thing is this, is that like Republicans could actually win more elections, and they could actually win more Black people voting for them. Because truthfully speaking, there's a lot of Black people who are like socially conservative who would vote Republican if it wasn't for that fucking racism thing that Republicans tend to do. Like if Republicans weren't so stuck on racism, they could probably run the fucking table with Black people, because Black people, to a large extent, tend to be a little bit more socially conservative. A lot of people love them. A lot of Black folks love us some Jesus, man. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, there are a lot of Black people who have like, some real fucked up attitudes when it comes to the LGBTQ community, right? So like Republicans could actually gain inroads within the Black community if they weren't so fucking racist, but instead of like actually addressing some of the issues that a lot of Black voters are like talking about and dealing with, if you didn't necessarily attack Black voters' ability to go vote, and you actually addressed a lot of concerns that Black people have when it comes to like their civic concerns, you could actually gain more voters. But Republicans don't take that tack, right? So yeah, man, I know I'm just talking specifically about voter suppression, but like there's so many different instances of like Republicans like showing their true colors and saying the quiet part out loud. They're like, yeah, man, when I see Republicans like openly and like wantonly being antagonistic towards people that look like me, then yeah, I'm going to like point it out. I'm gonna point it out, man. I'm gonna give you the policy. I'm gonna give you the people who are responsible for said policy, and I'm gonna actually point out some of the nuances that goes into said policy to bring me to where I thought where I'm thinking, right? So you got an issue with, me calling Republicans racist. I mean, deal with the racism in the party. You got a problem with me like mocking some of the Republican orthodoxy, and stop being so fucking backwards. Like, that's just where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? So, I appreciate you reaching out and making your voice heard here on the Spann Report. But man, I don't know if we'll ever really agree on that, because like today's Republican Party, bruh, they leave a lot to motherfucking be desired. So, man, that's in our listener feedback, man. I appreciate you writing in, though. You're welcome to write in again, man. Like, you didn't come in with like some bullshit and throwing daggers and shit like that. So I appreciate that. Respectfully disagree, but man, that's why I feel the way I feel about the Republican Party, man. The Republican Party is like on some bullshit, bro. Like, that's just what it is. I don't know what to tell you, man. Find another party. But those have been our emails. Now we got some. We got a 5-star review from iTunes, and shout out to my mans who gave me the 5-star review, because we like 5-star reviews around here. You can even talk shit about us here on the Spann Report podcast and like get your shit heard, so long as it's a 5-star review, man. You gotta leave 5 stars. If it ain't 5 stars, I ain't reading your shit. That's what it is. But our 5-star review comes from Bum Emit. All right, I wouldn't call you a bum, bro. Like, don't do that, man. Don't do that. But Bum Emit writes in and says, good content worth the listen. Love the diversity of content and breadth of knowledge. From politics to random comedy. Comedy is good to go with the heavy topics, man. I'm trying, man. Your man Spann ain't exactly the comedian. You know what I'm saying? I try to bring the laughs, but it ain't always easy, man, because there's a lot of bullshit going on in the world. But he said, Mrs. Spann, comedy goes good with this heavy topics that Mrs. Spann covers. Keep it up, sir. I will try to do that, and I appreciate your 5-star review, man. Real talk. Thank you so much. Because again, 5-star reviews help the show grow, man. Let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Spann Report podcast, man. Internet is in the chat room, and she says they broke every law you could think of that day. Every fucking law, man. A whole ass cop lost his life on January 6th, man. That's what doesn't mean makes sense. How you gonna talk about Blue Lives Mattering if you out there killing the police, man? Black Lives Matter ain't killed no police. That just ain't what it was. Black Lives Matter ain't did that. So they need to stop with that bullshit. But that's enough with the listener feedback, man. We got all our listener feedback in and out. So now it's time for us to get into the news. All right, our first story here in the news is Joe Biden just signed a $1.9 trillion stimulus package into law. Yes, he did. Won't he do it, Lord? Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Lord, won't he do it? So we get this story here. This comes out of the Washington Post. It says President Biden signed a $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief package into law on Thursday, setting in motion a vast effort on the part of his administration to implement one of the largest stimulus measures in U.S. history. And some stimulus payments could be delivered this weekend. I know some people that got their monies already. A stimmy is coming out. Like, niggas got their bread already. It says the historic legislation is about rebuilding the backbone of this country, the president said during the bill signing. The first round of stimulus payments of up to $1,400 go out this weekend to Americans whose direct deposit bank account information is already on hand at the IRS, said White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki on Thursday. The bill, known as the American Rescue Package, authorizes a third round of one-time stimulus payments of up to $1,400 for Americans, extends additional unemployment support to millions still out of work, and makes major changes to the tax code to benefit families with children. It also sets aside new federal money to help schools reopen, aid cities and states facing budget shortfalls, and assist in the distribution of coronavirus vaccine doses. Democrats have pledged to promote the bill heavily in the coming months, touting it as one of the most significant anti-poverty proposals that Congress has adopted in a generation. Biden, meanwhile, is expected to embark on a cross-country tour to sell the rescue plan to voters, including a trip to Pennsylvania scheduled for Tuesday. Vice President Kamala Harris and her husband are set to deliver the same message out west, although details of the trip are not clear. I'm going to just say this right now, man. This was something, right? Far be it for me, for your man Spann, to get Trump credit for nothing, right? Because y'all know how I feel about that motherfucker. But had Donald Trump done some shit like this, like had they actually take ownership as the federal government, had they actually take ownership of the government, of the federal government's role in like trying to, stimulate the economy, but also not only just stimulate the economy, but take care of the American people, then we could have possibly been looking at a second term, unfortunately, right? Because we know, like, Donald Trump was on some other shit, but we could have been looking at a second term with Donald Trump as opposed to Joe Biden being president of the United States. But because Donald Trump was an incompetent fuck, right? Because he was such an incompetent fuck, and he like really went out of his way to like kind of belittle the coronavirus, kind of like, act as though the coronavirus wasn't as a big a deal as it was, try to mitigate his responsibility in it. This is why the country never really shut down while Donald Trump was president, was because Donald Trump really wanted to put it in the hands of the governors and shit. And therefore, if you could put it in the hands of the governors, that means you can't blame me for the shit. It was an abdication of a responsibility and authority and the things that we look for in a president, right? But the other thing we want to kind of talk about was, like, we just got this email about why I feel the way I do about Republicans, but like, this is legislation that over 70% of the American people right now are in favor of, and not a single fucking Republican, not one fucking Republican actually voted to have this come through.
Well, that'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
Not one voted for this shit, bruh. And all of them are suddenly Republicans are out here talking about they give a goddamn about the goddamn deficit. Like, come on, bro. Y'all don't believe that shit. Y'all got all the monies in the world when it comes to like building fucking F-35 fighter jets that we probably ain't gonna use. You know what I'm saying? Like the Defense Department get all the bread in the world when it comes to Republicans, but we can't find and tax cuts. They give tax cuts to these rich motherfuckers. Jeff Bezos is sitting on more money than he can fucking. In 35 lifetimes, Jeff Bezos can't spend the money he got right now. Like, I just saw a story last week, man. Elon Musk went from the richest person in the world to the second richest person in the world, and this nigga lost $26 billion in one fucking week. He didn't even miss it. Right? But you're telling me that these are the people that need tax cuts, man. Fuck that. Meanwhile, you got people who are dealing with, hey, man, I got to figure out how the fuck I'm going to keep a roof over my head. I got to figure out how I'm going to feed my kids. I got to figure out how I'm going to get to work. You got people who are out here dealing with some real shit. But Republicans are out here like, yo, man, if it was a tax cut, shout out to Tim Ryan. He's from Ohio. He's a congressman from Ohio. I don't really fuck with Ohio like that. Unless you listen to the Spann Report. But I don't really fuck with y'all like that. But yo, man, Congressman Tim Ryan had the shit right, man. Like, finally, we get some shit for workers. We get some shit for the average everyday person. And Republicans are sitting on the sideline. And then on top of that, you got Mitch McConnell talking about some, well, we got vaccines coming out, and we got people are, we get an economic recovery, but he doesn't want to give credit to the fact that this stimulus package may have something to do with the fact that there may be a recovery in place, right? He's already trying to undercut it because Republicans are on the wrong side of this shit. They're on the wrong side of this. So, yeah, man, Biden side of this shit. I get it. Like, some folks are like, yo, man, it don't have a $15 minimum wage in it, right? I get that. It's a valid critique, but when you think about the overall benefit to the American people, yes, we want a $15 minimum wage. As a matter of fact, you still want the Congress to work out legislation to get you a $15 minimum wage. Make that its own legislation, right? Make that its own legislation and try to get that passed. Put that as something that Joe Biden can put that on as a bill on his desk. Pass that shit in the House and the Senate and get that to his desk so that he can sign that shit into law. But by and large, man, so many people are going to benefit from this coronavirus package, man. Like, I think was that Joe Biden made it like, or mandated that like they have enough vaccines now to where, by I think it's May 1st that every state should make it available to anyone over the age of 18 to where they can get the vaccine for the COVID-19, man. Like, yo, man, real talk. Your man Spann misses New Orleans, bro. Like, I miss New Orleans. I want to actually go to like the Red Dress Run this year, man. I want to celebrate my wedding anniversary in New Orleans, man, like I'm supposed to, because I love that fucking town. I miss that fucking town. I want to get with my people, man. I want to hug my people. I want to like get with my folks and not have to wear a fucking mask, man. I'm tired of my glasses fogging up every time I breathe, man. I want to get back to some level of normalcy. And so, like, for us to be in this place right now, with the vaccines becoming available, with the stimulus packages coming forth, with the ability for our kids to go back to school, with the funding, like to help these school districts get shit right so these kids can go back to school. So many things that could have happened if we had competent fucking leadership over the last 4 years, right? Or over the last 4 years, but specifically the last year, if we'd have had competent leadership, we could have been already doing these things. And so, yeah, man, Joe Biden signing a $1.9 trillion stimulus package to get America back up and running, man. Probably some of the most fucking influential or impactful like legislation in my lifetime. I'm just keeping it real. But yo, that's in the news. Another story that we got here in the news, man, is apparently the CDC is out here telling folks, man, that yo, if you are fully vaccinated, your ass can go and get with some other vaccinated folks without a goddamn mask, man. We get the story here. This comes out of the Associated Press. It says fully vaccinated Americans can gather with other vaccinated people indoors without wearing a mask or social distancing, according to a long-awaited guidance from the federal health officials. The recommendations also say that vaccinated people can come together in the same way that people consider at can come together in the same way with people considered at low risk for severe disease, just as the case of vaccinated grandparents visiting healthy children and grandchildren. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention announced the guidance Monday. The guidance is designed to address a growing demand as more adults have been getting vaccinated and wondering if it gives them greater freedom to visit family members, travel, or do other things that they did before the COVID-19 pandemic swept the world last year. We know that people want to get vaccinated so they can get back to doing the things they want to enjoy with the people they love. The CDC is considering to recommend that fully vaccinated people continue to wear well-fitted masks, avoid large gatherings, and physically distance themselves from others when out in public. The CDC also is advised vaccinated people to get tested if they develop symptoms that could be related to COVID-19. Officials say a person is considered fully vaccinated 2 weeks after receiving the last required dose of vaccine. About 30 million Americans, or only about 9% of the U.S. population, have been fully vaccinated with a federally authorized COVID-19 vaccine so far, according to the CDC. So I'm excited about that. I am scheduled to get my second dose of the vaccine on the 18th. So March 18th. And they making sure a nigga know too, bro. Like, they sending me text messages. They sending me emails. They're like, yo, man, you supposed to be here on the 18th at 6 p.m. to come get your shit. Right? Like, making sure a nigga know, I need to be back here. Oh, you need to be back here on the 8th. Come get your shit. And real talk, I can't wait to do it. Now I know a lot of folks are saying like, yo, man, that second shot of the vaccine, man, that's a motherfucker, bro, man, for real, man. Like, I got sick, nigga. I was nauseous and all this other stuff. It's not going to be as simple as it was with the first dose. Listen, I don't know if it's like, you know, my excitement kind of coming over that, but I'm more so like, yo, man, I just want this shit to be over with. I want it to be over with. And so, yo, if it takes me going ahead and getting this shot to where I can go hug the neck of my brothers or hug the neck of my sisters and my aunts and my uncles and shit like that, get with family and just be, or better yet, just get out with some of you random motherfuckers. I don't know everybody like that, but you know, I would like to go outside, man, and like just enjoy shit. Don't have to be standing 6 feet away from a motherfucker. Be out there like you go to the restaurant, go order some food and shit. I gotta stand in the corner and wait for a nigga to call my name. Nigga, like, nah, man. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of it. So the fact that, you know, fully vaccinated people will actually have the ability to just kind of like, you know, get back to some level of normalcy. Yeah, I'm all for that, bro. I'm all for that. And I encourage anybody, if you have an opportunity right now to get on the schedule to get vaccinated, please do so, man. Stop listening to these motherfuckers that used to copy your homework in the science class, man. Like, for real, stop doing that shit. I mean, I know it's a lot of people who got they got their own fucking, you know, I'll put it to you like this. I know people who have their own skepticisms, who have their own reasons for not doing it. And I get it. I don't know. I don't even know if I necessarily respect it, because I kind of feel like at this point, like, we've lost too many, and we've lost too many fucking chances at moments and like living life and shit for us to like still be sitting around talking about, I don't know, man. I don't want to be the first one to get it. Like, nigga, you ain't nowhere near the first. Millions of doses have been passed out. And come on, man. Y'all drinking too much Hennessy to be sitting up here talking about some what you ain't putting in your body, bro. You don't know what the fuck's in that Hennessy, man. You don't know. Right? But yo, man, that's in the news. Another story that we got here in the news, we talking about Biden signing the stimulus package. But we got this story here that comes out of Fox News, man. Now, y'all know how I feel about Fox News. I feel like Fox News is state TV when it came to Donald Trump, right? But listen, I'm going to read the story. COVID-19 pill is effective in preliminary testing, and it may be the holy grail of pandemic, according to Dr. Marc Siegal. All right. Now, let's see. It says Fox News medical contributor Dr. Marc Siegal tells Fox and Friends Weekend, the medication might be the future of coronavirus treatment. A new possible medication to treat coronavirus positive patients could be enough to turn the pandemic on its head, Fox News medical contributor Dr. Marc Siegal revealed Sunday on Fox and Friends Weekend. First stage testing of the experimental COVID-19 pill called Molnupiravir. Okay. Molnupiravir by Merck and Ridgeback Biotherapeutics showed promising signs of effectiveness in reducing the virus in patients. It may be the holy grail on this because it was just studied in phase 2 trials, and it literally stopped the virus in its tracks, he explained, and there wasn't any virus found in the patients that were studied. The drug will function as an at-home 5-day treatment similar to Tamiflu to stop the virus from reproducing before causing major damage. Siegal said the therapeutic could come to market in as little as 4 to 5 months. The doctor said even though only 182 patients were studied during testing so far, this pill could be still very promising for thousands of people. Now, the reason why I'm making a point to say that this Dr. Siegal was a Fox News contributor, because this is also the same network that went out of their way to tell us that was that hydroxychloroquine was the magic bullet for the coronavirus. You know what I'm saying? I want to believe that there's maybe this could be an effective treatment for COVID-19, and maybe some people could take this in order to become asymptomatic or not, or if they have contracted coronavirus, if they don't shed it and they don't become contagious and can spread that shit to other people. But again, you didn't believe that you talk about the CDC they talked about the CDC being too cautious or stepping down, like the optimism, right? Stepping down the optimism about how people can mingle, how people can go out and be amongst other folks, right? And I hear that. But at the same time, when you have states like Texas and Mississippi opening up, getting rid of the mask mandates, and kind of being reckless before we've actually reached the finish line. It's almost like I said last week, Leon Lett with the football celebrating and shit like that with the football before he actually crossed the goal line. Like, we're not at the goal line yet. And so with Dr. Siegal being one of those folks who were talking about like, yo, this might be the magic bullet, man. We tired of this magic bullet shit that these folks over on Fox News, Republicans and everything, everybody over, it's like magic beans, bruh. Like, they got magic beans that they selling all the time, man. It's like Jack and the Beanstalk. Like, hey, man, I got these beans, bruh. I can sell you. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? I got so many things over here vibrating and shit. God damn. Put my phone in my pocket. This motherfucker is going off. But yeah, man. Fox News is selling some more shit. Before it was a hydroxychloroquine. Now it might be this new drug. But yo, that's in the news. Another story that we got here in the news, and this is actually some good news, man. The case against Breonna Taylor's boyfriend has been thrown the fuck out, man.
There'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
Yeah, man. Kenneth Walker, his case has been thrown out. We get the story here. This comes from WXYZ. This is the Channel 7 affiliate or the ABC affiliate here in Detroit. It says a judge in Kentucky has signed an order permanently closing a criminal case against Breonna Taylor's boyfriend. Kenneth Walker shot a police officer during a deadly raid that killed Taylor last March. Prosecutors dismissed an attempted murder of a police officer charge against Walker in May, but they left open the opportunity to revisit the charge against Walker if new evidence surfaced. According to the Associated Press, Walker's attorney asked in a motion for charges to be dismissed permanently because Walker acted in self-defense and he did not know that police were on the other side of the door. Taylor was shot fatally. Taylor was shot fatally by police on March 13, 2020, when police barged through her door with a narcotics warrant, the AP wrote. And that's, man, fuck, shit. This is actually the 1-year anniversary of Breonna Taylor's death, man. Fuck. Didn't know that. 1-year anniversary since the police did this to this woman. According to the AP, Walker fired a single shot because he thought an intruder was breaking into the home, striking an officer in the leg. On Monday, Judge Olu Stevens dismissed the 2020 indictment against Walker with prejudice, meaning it cannot be reconsidered. So shout out to Judge Olu Stevens, man, because essentially what the DA was trying to do was like just hold this shit over to Kenneth Walker's head into perpetuity, man. Into perpetuity. Like Kenneth Walker did what any man with a gun that he's licensed to have and someone came into his home uninvited while he was asleep would do. And that would be to shoot at the motherfucker who came into his house uninvited while he was in the bed with his wife or his girlfriend with his children in the house. So however you want to like put that. In many cases, a lot of conservative folks will talk about that shit being standing your ground. Kenneth Walker was standing his ground in his house. Just so happened that the police who did not fucking announce themselves, one of them got popped in the leg because they did not announce themselves while they was coming in this man's house. So yeah, man, the fact that this judge saw that it was bullshit, and the fact that this judge saw that the DA was pretty much going to try to hold this over him into perpetuity, yeah, man, shout out to Judge Olu Stevens for throwing that shit the fuck out. And yo, that has been the news. Yeah, man. But y'all know what time it is.
What in blue blazes is going on out here? Did this nigga just say blue blazes?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, our first story here in Blue Blazes, man, is so the royal family going through some shit, man. The British royal family, because I know there's more than one royal family, but the one everybody always seems to talk about is these British motherfuckers. So the royal family, the Britain royal family, is going through some shit. And so here's what happened, right? The Prince Harry and his wife, Meghan Markle, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, did a tell-all interview with Tennessee State alumni, HBCU, stand the fuck up, Oprah Winfrey. They did an interview with Oprah Winfrey, and they talked about some of the things that led to them leaving their official roles as senior members of the royal family. And so we got this video here. I'm gonna pull this up so you guys can watch right along with us. Hopefully, like NBC don't really fuck with us because I'm fair use, man. Like y'all be fucking with your man Spann unfairly and shit. But let's see what they're talking about here.
Tonight, silence from the royal family after Harry and Meghan's bombshell allegation that racist comments were made before the birth of their first son.
He won't be given security. He's not going to be given a title. and also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
What?
There are several conversations.
There's a conversation with you?
With Harry.
About how dark your baby is going to be?
Potentially, and what that would mean or look like.
Prince Harry confirming the allegation.
That conversation I'm never going to share. But at the time it was awkward. I was a bit shocked.
Today in the UK, many stunned.
Really hurtful to a lot of people, to be honest. As a black woman, she didn't get it very easy within the royal family.
Meghan says she became so depressed, she asked for help.
I just didn't want to be alive anymore. I said that I needed to go somewhere to get help, and I was told that I couldn't, that it wouldn't be good for the institution.
So were you thinking of harming yourself? Were you having suicidal thoughts?
Yes. This was very, very clear.
Wow.
She says Harry was her only support.
If you zoom in, what I see is how tightly his knuckles are gripped around mine. You can see the whites of our knuckles because we are smiling and doing our job, but we're both just trying to hold on.
Contrary to press reports, they say they never blindsided the Queen.
I've never blindsided my grandmother. I have too much respect for her.
Harry describes a strained relationship with the British press and members of the royal family, including his father, who he says at one point wouldn't pick up his calls. As for his relationship with Prince William,
the relationship is space.
One royal historian tonight tells us the palace will be in crisis mode.
How damaging is the interview?
I think it's very damaging, actually. They've made very serious allegations, primarily, of course, of racism in the royal family.
Oprah says Prince Harry told her the unnamed royal who made the comments about skin color is not the Queen or Prince Philip.
All right. So that's enough of that. But check this out, y'all. So, yeah.
Aubrey Morgan has always loved animals.
So let's go back a little bit, right? So I remember when this was like really big news, when Meghan Markle was becoming, you know, a new princess, like a black princess, and like sisters all over the world were celebrating this, right? And because I know, you know, shutting the fuck up is free. You know what I'm saying? Like, shut the fuck up is free. Doesn't cost you nothing to shut the fuck up. And even though I wasn't necessarily like a fan of, and I'm still not necessarily, I don't understand like Americans' obsession with this family. Like, we fought a whole ass war to kind of get away from these folks, and yet and still we follow some of the yet and still we still kind of like follow the goings ons with that family. And I'm gonna spend a significant portion of this show talking about these people, but like I never really quite understood like why folks were so excited about you know, like this wedding or anything that the fucking royals do. Like I never really quite understand why are we so excited about this shit, right? But I remember like a bunch of sisters being excited about, yo, we getting a black princess show. It's black girl magic time. And like, you know, even though I'm just like, yo, man, I okay, I'm gonna let y'all have that. Cause like, you know, what good does it like give you? Like, what good does it give me to like, to be like kind of shitting on somebody else's excitement about some shit, right? And so like, you just kind of let them cook or whatever, right? But as we saw stories over and over again, like even while they were courting, you know, like the British tabloids and the British press were like really giving like Harry shit about the fact that he was bringing this American black woman into the family, like into the royal family. Like, how dare he? You know, you got like a lot of old like British white women who were like feeling as though their prince that they had been lusting over for so many years is being taken away from them. He's being stolen from them. That sort of thing going on. And all the while, like I said, like I'm more so like was kind of curious. It was always like kind of a curious thing to like see some black people like embracing it, because I'm always like, yo, man, so, you know, the British Empire, you know, like being a part of that, like colonialism and like all of these things that they spread across the world, bro. Like, You know, you got a whole bunch of like places where the Queen of England is seen as the sovereign and the head of their state, and like, why? I don't understand why they colonized so many different places. When Black Panther came out and people were talking about colonizer, like that was a fucking insult to white people, and yet we like, yo, yeah, man, but like we get to be a part of that. Like, I just didn't get it. I didn't get it. But that didn't mean that the things that Meghan Markle had to go through, she deserved, right? Didn't mean that at all. Like, no one deserves some of the press coverage that Meghan Markle got. No one deserved the amount of harassment that Meghan Markle got. Meghan Markle essentially married into a family, or better yet, she married the man that she loved, but what came with him was like a family that she really, didn't know all of the things that came with marrying into that family. And, a whole lot, like, regular motherfuckers deal with that kind of shit all the time. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you love this motherfucker, you love this person, you love everything about this person, but then you meet their family, and then like they family come with some shit. You like, I don't know, bruh. I don't know. Like, regular folks deal with that kind of shit every day, but they ain't dealing with it in the same level when it comes to the press and the roles that you're supposed to play. And like, you just kind of grin and bear it and all this other shit, man. And so many people kind of resonated with, the interview that Meghan Markle gave. But there's, also the people who's like, yo, man, it's the royal family. Can we really be surprised that like the British Empire that spread colonialism and fucking slavery throughout the world got some racist motherfuckers still in that royal family? Like, who's nobody? I don't think anybody in the world is surprised by that, right? I don't think anybody in the world is surprised by that. But so here's the thing, though. This announcement has the royal family, for one, pretending as though, like, yo, despite all of the history of the royal family, has them pretending as though like they are blindsided by the fact that people know that they might potentially have some racist tendencies within the royal family. Like, listen to my white people, real talk. I want y'all to hear me on this. When it comes to people of color, a lot of times we are more surprised when you don't harbor racist attitudes than when you do, right? We are more surprised when you don't harbor racist attitudes than when you do. Because the world has shown us so many times how often those racist attitudes tend to bubble up to the surface, right? So when you don't have those tendencies, a lot of people of color are just like, oh, well, I be damn, look at Jeremy over here. Okay, Jeremy, I see you, bro. You invited to the cookout, my dude. Okay, go ahead and bring that green bean casserole over here, man. We fucks with it because we fucks with you, right? Black folks are more so like surprised when white folks don't have like some racist tendencies and shit because it's so ingrained in the ways people have been kind of brought up. So we're not surprised that the fucking royal family who are all about bloodlines and blue bloods and, like keeping shit like, like we're not surprised that think about this for a second now. Like, if the royal family was so fucking progressive, like why is Meghan Markle the first? And this is like, when did she marry to this family? Like 3-4 years ago. If the royal family was so fucking like progressive, they hold dominion over like tropical islands, and like they brought the caste system over to like India and shit like that. Like, think about this for a second. If they weren't really like on some racist shit, like why is Meghan Markle, biracial Meghan Markle at that? Like, why is Meghan Markle like being subjugated to all of this racist sort of fucking coverage? And like, why is her child being questioned as to whether or not he can be a prince and whether or not he deserves protection and all this other shit? Why is that even a conversation if the royal family is progressive, right? Why is that a thing? So yeah, man, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry And shout out to Prince Harry, man, because Prince Harry is like has really grown up. Real talk, like, you know, I'm old enough to remember when people were like on Prince Harry's neck for that Halloween costume that he wore. He actually showed up at a Halloween party wearing like a Nazi brown shirt uniform, right? I remember that. And like, you know, Prince Harry went from that to like, yo, I'm not only married to a black woman, but I will leave all this shit behind for the love of my wife because she doesn't deserve this. So shout out to him for that, right? That's growth. I know a lot of motherfuckers talk about growth, but like that's growth. He didn't understand what the fuck he was wearing at the time. Like the Nazis actually bombed his home, right? Like like they bombed his shit the fuck up, and he was wearing a Nazi brown shirt uniform at a goddamn Halloween costume party or whatever, right? And then we see him today, like with his wife. And like, yo, I will leave all this shit behind because she means that much to me. Shout out to him for that. Shout out to him for that growth, right? But it's just kind of weird, man. Like I'm in a weird kind of spot because I'm like, I'm not necessarily surprised, but also like, yo, nobody deserves that sort of treatment. You know, it's a weird spot to kind of be in, like, right? But then as we talk about some of the coverage that like the British tabloids have been kind of giving the royal family and Meghan Markle in particular, one of the biggest like, you know, one of the biggest like critics of Meghan Markle has been one Piers Morgan, right? Now, Piers Morgan used to have a show on CNN here in America. As a matter of fact, I believe that Don Lemon took his time slot. I believe like the last time I remember seeing like Piers Morgan on CNN, he was talking about like the gun laws here in America. And I remember him going to a gun range. He shot an AR-15. He's talking about how powerful an AR-15 was and stuff. And, you know, and mostly to just kind of shit on like the fact that Americans have access or like American citizens have access to that sort of firepower. But it's weird though, because like here in America, Piers Morgan was seen as like some sort of liberal cuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you don't need to be here. Take your ass back over to England. We don't need you over here, you fucking English cuck. You know, like, you know, I'm sorry. Let me do that right. Get your English ass up. I'm fucking it up. Never mind. Never mind. I ain't got my Southern guy voice right now. I don't have a Southern guy voice right now. But like I remember that time when he was here and he was on CNN and he was talking about our gun laws, and suddenly like now Piers Morgan is seen as like some sort of right-wing like firebrand over in Britain right now, right? And Piers Morgan has been one of Meghan Markle's like most ardent critics. And we found out that the reason why Piers Morgan was one of Meghan Markle's more ardent critics is because Piers Morgan had a crush on Meghan Markle. Actually had a time out with Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle didn't talk to his ass no more, ghosted him. Cause she, you know, she had a motherfucking upgrade. She got upgraded to the goddamn Prince of fucking England, man. And so, what? Yeah, man, he got mad because she got upgraded with the Prince of England. You know, so let's see. We got this story here. As a matter of fact, he has a show, or he had a show in Britain. It was called Good Morning Britain. I guess it's like, you know, Good Morning America. But on Good Morning Britain, they had a man. What's this dude's name? I forget this guy's name. Let me pull this up so we can. Let me pull this up so we can check this out. But essentially, where is it? Where is it? Okay, yeah, here's a video right here. This guy kind of pretty much breaks down why Piers Morgan has been going on and on and on and on this diatribe about Meghan Markle pretty much since she got with Prince Harry. So let me pull this up so you guys can kind of watch right along with your man Spann, and let's do this. Check this out, y'all. Piers Morgan storming off his own goddamn show.
And I understand that you don't like Meghan Markle. You've made it so clear a number of times on this program, a number of times. And I understand that you've got a personal relationship with Meghan Markle, or had one, and she cut you off. She's entitled to cut you off if she wants to. Has she said anything about you since she cut you off? I don't think she has, but yet you continue to trash her.
Okay, I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no. Sorry.
So, do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash me, maybe not my.
No.
See you later.
I'm being.
Sorry, can't
This
do
is
this.
absolutely diabolical behavior. I'm sorry, but Pierce spouts off on a regular basis, and we all have to sit there and listen. 6:30 to 7 o'clock yesterday was incredibly hard to watch.
All right. So, yeah, Pierce Morgan got up from his own damn show, after being called out for the fact that he continuously spoke out against Meghan Markle, talked about, you know, whether or not she's being truthful about her suicidal thoughts, that he doesn't believe whether or not she was suicidal or not. More so talking about, like, you know, he's an ardent defender of the royal family, and, you know, she's saying these things, and Prince Harry's grandfather's name is Prince Philip. That's his name. Prince Philip is in the hospital, and the Queen of England is mourning over Prince Philip in a hospital, and they come out with this interview. They didn't have to say anything, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, he says all of these things as though their lived experience is invalid, right? They shouldn't say shit. She should just grin and bear it, right? Then we find out that the reason why Piers Morgan has so much shit to say about Meghan Markle is because pretty much Meghan Markle, like, went out on a date with him, didn't necessarily like him. And I actually have obtained audio of the exchange that Meghan Markle had with Piers Morgan when she left the table because she realized she didn't really like this motherfucker. So I'm gonna pull this up so you guys can, like, listen to this. But check this out, man.
Fuck you. Fuck the plane you flew in on. Fuck them shoes. Fuck those socks with the bell on it. Fuck your gay ass fairy faggot accent. Fuck them cheap ass cigars. Fuck your yuck mouth teeth. Fuck your hairpiece. Fuck your chocolate. Fuck Guy Ritchie. Fuck Prince William. Fuck the Queen. This is America. My president is black and my Lambo is blue, nigga. Now get the fuck out of my hotel room. And if I see you in the street, I'm slapping the shit out of you.
Yeah, man. That's what happened. And Piers Morgan ain't been the motherfucking same since. Like, Piers ain't been the same since, man. For real. So Piers Morgan has been pretty much giving us, like, you know, negative opinions about Meghan Markle ever since because of that exchange. All right. So now we know the reason why he's doing that, right? But also, he actually did this, right? So Piers Morgan, after he got up from the dragging that brother gave him, I believe his name is Alex something. I'm drawing a blank on what his whole name is, but after that dragging, Piers Morgan got up, he left the show, he quit the show, and the reason why he said he quit the show was because he was standing up, nigga. Hold on, y'all ain't gonna believe this, but he was standing up for freedom of speech.
Negro, please.
Yeah, man. He was standing up for freedom of speech. So let me go ahead and pull this up so you guys can kind of watch right along with me, because I have video of that as well. The press conference that he had outside of his home. Let me pull this up so you guys can see. Check this out, y'all. All right. Let's see what he's talking about. Uh-oh. All right, Comcast, let's act like we're trying to podcast.
I believe in freedom of speech. I believe in the right to be allowed to have an opinion. If people want to believe Meghan Markle, that's entirely their right. I don't believe almost anything that comes out of her mouth. And I think the damage she's done to the British monarchy and to the Queen at a time when Prince Philip was lying in hospital is enormous and frankly contemptible. So if I have to fall on my sword for expressing an honestly held opinion about Meghan Markle and that diatribe of bilge that she came out with in that interview, so be it.
All right. So this is, I kind of want to lean into this because this is actually something that a lot of conservative folks really try to lean into when they are on the receiving end of some of the shit that they kind of put out there in the world, right? So let's get this straight. Piers Morgan has been essentially going on a diatribe about Meghan Markle ever since Meghan Markle ghosted his ass from that date. That from whenever that date happened, Piers Morgan has been like, yo, going on, like, he don't like this woman. He's made it clear he don't like that woman, And he goes on television every chance he gets. When he talks about this woman, it's always negative shit, right? Somebody brings up the fact that, like, yo, man, Meghan Markle ain't really said your name, bruh. Like, real talk. Meghan Markle ain't just like, she ain't even been like bringing you up. And you stay with her name in your mouth, bro. Like, what's really good? And Piers Morgan, for the 5 minutes maybe, because they actually had a pretty long exchange, but like Piers Morgan all this weekend like been talking cash shit about Meghan Markle. And in a 15-minute exchange with a brother who's like, yo, man, she ain't really said your name, but you've been talking cash shit about her the entire fucking time. And Piers Morgan can't stand to even sit there and listen, right? And he's talking about freedom of speech. Freedom of speech for who exactly? Right? Because we don't know if Piers Morgan was fired or whether he resigned. We don't know what happened there. But like, you've had the freedom to say this shit for years at this point. And the minute that the speech is being directed your way, suddenly you can't sit there. You can't handle it. Now you all about freedom of speech, but freedom of speech for who? Right? See, this is the thing. A lot of times when people start talking about this freedom of speech shit, and we talked about this earlier, freedom from consequences is what they really want. It's not about the freedom of speech. It's the freedom from the consequences of the shit that they're saying. Right? They out here saying some fuck ass shit, and they don't want any consequences being meted out because of the things that they say. You can say whatever you want. You are not being persecuted by the government. You are not in jail for the shit that you said right now. Like, you actually may even go out there and get yourself another job or another outlet who loves the shit that you say. And you're going to be surrounded by a whole bunch of other motherfuckers who love the shit you say because echo chambers are a motherfucker. But ultimately, Piers Morgan is going to be all right. But he's feeding into this narrative that if you say some offensive shit, then the cancel culture is going to come for you. And, you know, we don't have freedom of speech anymore. No. You got freedom of speech. You are free to say whatever the fuck it is you want to, but nobody has to deal with you. Nobody has to associate themselves with you. They can disassociate themselves when they see fit. Companies do this shit all the time. And it's a way for a lot of conservative folks to paint themselves as being victims when they're out here really wanting to victimize other people. This is the nefariousness of it all. Like, you want to be out here perpetuating negative stereotypes about marginalized folk. But the minute somebody actually calls you out on the bullshit, suddenly you're the victim in the entire situation. Piers Morgan is out here trying to act as though he's the marginalized folk in this particular situation. He ain't. Piers Morgan gonna be all right. How many people do you know get to walk away from a nationally televised show, just walk off the fucking set? How many people do you know get a chance to do that? Other than a highly privileged motherfucker. Right? Piers Morgan got up and walked off a nationally televised show that he's, you know, a host of. So, like, yeah, man, like, it's a royal flush in the sense that, like, yo, the royals have been kind of called out for some of the racism. I mean, I don't think anybody should have been surprised by that, but I'm sure some folks were. It has led to a nationally or internationally known podcast. An internationally known television personality, because he also had a show here on CNN here in America, but also back in Britain, an internationally known television host, to walk away from his job because he got called out for some of the things that he was saying about the one black person in the whole fucking royal family. The one black person in the whole fucking royal family. So yeah, man, that's in Blue Blazers, man. He quit his whole fucking show, man, because somebody called him out on the fact that she didn't want to fuck with him no more. That's crazy, man. Ain't nothing wrong. I know they talk about like there's nothing more, like nothing worse than a woman scorn, but like, nigga, have you met a rejected dude before? Like, them niggas is angry, bro. Like, them niggas will not let it go. Like, she's a bitch from here on out, according to Piers Morgan, man, and a whole bunch of other niggas, man. As soon as you tell a nigga, like, I've listened to women, I've heard women say that, like, yo, if you don't get a nigga the right phone number, they scared. You know what I'm saying? Like they give a nigga a number because they scared this nigga gonna do something to him. Like, it's sort of like that kind of thing. So like that kind of thing. And, you know, Piers Morgan has a nationally televised or a national, you know, platform. He can say a whole bunch of negative shit and it just kind of flies. And a lot of people buy that shit. So, yo, man, that's in Blue Blazes. Now, another story that we got here in Blue Blazes, man, we got an Uber passenger who is essentially a walking, talking, breathing violation of shit, right? So we get this story here that actually comes out of, let me see if I can pull this up. I know I got it here somewhere, but Pocket, and I hate the way Pocket is like kind of did this, but so yeah, man, we got this. We actually get this story from Twitter. There's a video of this young lady who was asked by an Uber driver to wear a mask in his car, and rather than wear a mask in his car, these dumb motherfuckers decide they want to assault this dude and cough in his face during a goddamn pandemic, man. Let me pull this video up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Hold on just a second while we do that. All right, here we go.
Fuck the man. Fuck the nigga, and I got corona. Yeah, what's up? Fuck you too. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? My property. Now you about to get beat the fuck up. Yeah, now you about to get beat the fuck up. Now you about to get beat the fuck up. What's up?
You don't touch my property. You don't buy it. You don't buy it. I bought it. I work hard for it.
You're not in the middle of nowhere.
So
So
did it like this?
I'm a little I'm a little shocked how they've allowed this young lady to like just continue to like spout like nigga like in this particular exchange. Like there's two black girls in the car with this obviously not black girl. And yet she's been given her, I guess they've given her a nigga pass. Now I know, like, you know, some black folks have given some of the white people or some of the spicy white people around them, they've given them the license to say to drop nigga occasionally amongst them. Yeah, that shit ain't gonna fly amongst everybody else though. And I'm looking at this like, first thing first, I'm looking at both of these sisters sideways, like, yo, y'all really gonna let her talk this shit like around y'all? Y'all really just like let her drop the N-word around y'all? Nah, fuck the N-word, nigga. Y'all really gonna let her drop that? But also, like, the man is in his car. He's providing a service to you. He asked you, and also I believe it's Uber's policy to like, yo, if you're gonna be in a car, you need to be wearing a fucking mask. He should not have even had to ask you during a fucking panoramic to wear a goddamn mask. He shouldn't have even had to ask you. You know the fucking rules when you get in the car. He asks you to wear a goddamn mask and you decide like, nah, fuck the mask. I'm going to cough in your shit. And I'm also going to try to take your mask off and snatch your phone. Where the fuck is that ever okay? Who raised y'all? Right? Who raised y'all? But it goes on. Let's see. So,
out in the middle of the fucking thing. Are you stupid? I really have to like do something.
Did I told you to get out in the gas station? You didn't.
All right. So there was another video, and like I said, this came from Twitter. But there was another video where he actually was going to drop them off at a gas station. They refused to get out at the gas station, right? They could have actually like had another Uber. They could have ordered another Uber, had the Uber pick them up at the gas station, but they refused to get out at the gas station. So he said, fuck it, I'm going to drive home, right? They started threatening this dude, saying like, oh, you don't want to take us to your house because we know where you live. You don't want to take us there because some shit will happen to you at your house. They've been threatening this dude the entire fucking ride, also coughing on him, all sorts of shit. Bad motherfucking behavior, right? Now, they do all this shit, man. And also shout out to my Uber drivers, man. Like I use Uber when I'm out, like out of town and stuff like that. I don't like, you know, when I'm at home, I don't have any use for it. But when I'm out and about, like if I'm in New Orleans or something like that, I use Uber quite a bit. And when I was in Washington, D.C. for NegroCon, I used Uber. That's how your man Spann got around, right? Uber and Lyft, y'all are providing service. Appreciate y'all, man. Real talk. Because you're using your own cars, man. You're dealing with strangers, man. If some shit happened in your car, you liable for it more often than not. People should be a little bit more respectful. You're not in a cab or anything like that. You were in somebody else's fucking vehicle, man. This is their job. They shouldn't have to deal with ignorant motherfuckers like you sometimes. Right? Real talk. So she does all this shit, right? And she's assaulted him or whatever. So she gets out. Oh shit, we got some news here in the chat room. Jackson in the chat room, he says one of them sisters got arrested. Good motherfucking job. Good motherfucking job. Like, listen, I ain't the biggest fan of the police, right? Man, Spann, I ain't the biggest fan of the police. But where are the police when you need them? Apparently they got one of them, right? One of them got arrested. But so check this out. So the one who was like the most egregious, the one who was like the most animated, the one who was doing the most, decided that she needed to get on social media and tell the world why she was acting the ass that she was acting. So let me pull this up so you guys can, you know, watch right along with your man Spann. Hold on, let me pull this up. This is on Twitter because a lot of this shit happens on Twitter, apparently. Let me pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Here. Wait, it ain't low yet. Let's take that down. All right, so here we go.
Boyfriend taught me. He taught me, don't let nobody play with you. Smack the fuck out them. That's what I was taught.
Wait,
so if y'all,
hold on. What?
My boyfriend taught me. He taught me, don't let nobody play with you. Smack the fuck out them. That's
your boyfriend. My boyfriend. See, shit done went left already. Your guidance is coming from your boyfriend. I get the sense this is a really young girl, right? A really young girl, because her logic and a lot of this shit is just like it's wanting so bad. It's a wanting logic. Like a lot of this shit that she's gonna say just doesn't really make sense much at all.
That's what I was taught. So if y'all boyfriends told y'all to let this Uber let y'all get out the car and get robbed or whatever the fuck would have happened, now that's on y'all. Hell no. And he lucky as hell I ain't have nothing on me on mamas, because if he would have played with me, bruh.
Oh, and also shout out to the cultural appropriation that's going on here. Like you could tell, like this is a young. I can't really tell what her ethnicity is, but you could tell this is a young person of not black descent who hangs around probably a lot of black folks, who has appropriated a lot of the lingo that black people use and all these other things. And like, she's trying so hard to fit in, right? And this is the other part about this, and I've said this on the show quite a bit, man. This is like one of the side effects, really, of social media. The side effects of like people feeling as though they have to share everything with social media. They have to share everything for a bunch of strangers to consume. Many of them don't know you, don't care about you, don't give a fuck about what you're going through, but you get on social media. Like even on this live, there's like 1,633 folks who are watching this live. Many of those folks were more than likely people who had saw this shit on Twitter, who like then went and followed her on Instagram because that's what people do, don't really know her. And she's looking at like, yo, I got 1,600 motherfuckers watching me right now. And this is gassing her up. And so she feels as though she has to keep performing, right? A lot of this is just a performance for folks. This is my way of coming up. All right, so I had some shit that happened. It went viral. Let me go ahead and feed this beast because it may lead to an opportunity to where I can sell some of those LED lights on Twitter or some shit. Because everybody's selling those goddamn like projector lights and whatnot. You see, every time a fucking tweet goes viral, somebody's selling them goddamn lights. She wants to sell lights, y'all. Right? But also, when you have a a group of folks who grown up where social media has been available and has been ubiquitous within like their entire fucking life. Like, yo, everything is fodder for social media, despite the fact that everything really shouldn't be, you know. But yo, she's talking about this exchange. So let's let this video continue.
It would have been a whole different story. For real, you're not about to kick me out on the freeway. Everybody I know, 75% of people I know would have smacked the shit out of him or done some crazy ass off the wall shit. All I did was take his mask off.
No, all I did, right? All I did.
And cough a little bit, but I ain't even have corona. So at the end of the day, okay, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that was disrespectful as fuck. I'm dead ass wrong for that, but it could have been avoided. Period, point blank. It could have been avoided.
It could have been avoided if they'd have got their ass out of the gas station when he told them to get out of the gas station because they refused. You know, here's the other part. It all actually could have been avoided if they'd just wore the mask like they were supposed to. If they would have wore the mask like they were supposed to, all of that could have been avoided. Like, this is like the lack of accountability that a lot of folks just don't really want to take. Hey, I fucked up, right? She said, oh, I was disrespectful. I didn't have to like take his mask off. I didn't have to cough on him or whatever else. Was she really like when she could take it even further back? Like, yo, I could have just wore the mask like the nigga asked because I was in his car. That's all she had to do. We wouldn't even be talking about her right now. But now, like, we talking about her here on the Spann Report, and people were talking about her on Twitter because, you know, she was being extra, and like apparently on social media, being extra pays.
Avoided. You could have just waited and made sure we were safe. If you would have made sure, yo, pass this fucking stupid ass Uber, bruh. Oh, mamas. That's
hold on. So asking you to wear a mask is it making sure that you're safe? Like, if you wore a mask while you were in the car, he could have got you to your destination safely, and he could have been safe as well. Like, come on, man. Come on. Think. This is what I'm saying. Like, logic is wanting in this video.
why I take Lyft. That's why I take Lyft.
Oh, man.
That's why I take Lyft.
This is why she take Lyft. All right. So, yeah, she talked about this is why I take Lyft. And, yeah, that's funny, man. Lyft essentially was just like, yo, keep our motherfucking name out your mouth. Because Lyft was like,
that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
They straight up banned her ass, too. Yeah, man. Lyft was like, yeah, so check this out, B. We don't want to be associated with any of your shenanigans. And so because of the fact that we don't want to be associated with any of your shenanigans, we got to put out a statement. And essentially it says, although this incident did not involve the Lyft platform, the unacceptable treatment of the driver in this video compelled us to permanently remove the rider from the Lyft community. Driving in a pandemic is not easy. Please wear a mask, respect one another, and be a good person. Well, I'm just saying.
Got him! Got him!
And you know what's funny, man? Like, think about this for a second. Somebody said this to me on Facebook, and I think it holds true. Like, can you imagine, like, being the person who, like everybody wants to go out, and you can't get in the Lyft because you've been banned? Like, you can't get in the Uber because you've been banned? Like, I know people like kind of shit on cabs and shit now, right? like, but you got to be like the lone person. Like, man, I got to call Yellow Cab, man. I got to call Chicken Cab, you know, because I got banned off of Lyft and Uber. They saw that video I did. And, I can't ride with y'all. Like, think about that. She got banned from both Lyft and Uber. She has to actually call a cab. You know what happens? I don't know. Like, it's been so long since I rode in a cab. Do they have apps where you could like track where the nigga, like where your cab is at when he on his way? Do they have like apps like that for like Yellow Cab and Checker Cab and stuff like that? You know, do they have that? Like, can you pay him with an app? Like, do you have to still exchange like cash with the cabbie or whatever else? It's been a while, man. Your man Spann don't know. I'm really asking. But do you have to do that when you call a cab? Because essentially she just fucked up her whole ride sharing thing by being a disrespectful motherfucker, man. It costs you nothing to treat people nice, man. It's free. It's free, man. It's free. Oh, shit. We got some comments here in the chat room. Deanna's in the chat room. She says, real talk, the audacity of being worried about how dark Harry and Meghan's baby was going to be when their family is inbred like a motherfucker. Queen Elizabeth's husband is her third cousin. For real? Wait. For real? So check this out. Hold on. I know we kind of backtrack here, but I didn't know that. So her third cousin. So, okay. So here's the thing. I never really understood why people were like enthralled with the royals, but I did start like kind of watching like what's that shit on Netflix, like the Queen or like the Royal, like whatever the fuck that series was, only because I was trying to figure out why people are so into these people. I thought it was like they were giving her shit because the nigga was from Greece or something. I didn't know he was like her third cousin. No, that's crazy. He said also, the British royal family are the OG racists. Who do folks think America learned to be racist from? I mean, well, yeah, we kind of went over there. Yeah. Like they imported racism all over the world. And it's amazing that people are so shocked that the British family would be like, they would actually have racists within the royal family. I really am perturbed by the audacity of these folks to act as though they are shocked that the British royal family could be racist. Yeah. But yo, that's in Blue Blazes. Another story that we got here in Blue Blazes, man, is so I was really thinking about saving this shit for Beer and Chicken. And we might even still talk about this shit on Beer and Chicken. But there was a high school basketball game that happened in Georgia. I'm sorry, in Oklahoma. High school basketball game happened in Oklahoma. The national anthem was played at this basketball game. And the announcers for this game actually took offense to this, so much so that he called these young ladies niggers for kneeling at this high school basketball game. Yeah, as a matter of fact, let me pull up the video to this. Now, the audio of this is actually kind of hard to listen to. Let's see. Did I save that? I didn't. I didn't save the audio to this. I'm sorry. Well, let me see. I'm sure I did. Let me see if I saved it in Beer and Chicken. I did. Wait. Nope. I didn't. Okay. I'm sorry. But yo, TMZ is talking about this story. So we're going to get the story here from TMZ. Here we go. Let me let's play this video. Let me pull this up real quick here. Let's play this video. Let's see what they're talking about on the TMZ. Because I know they're going to bleep shit.
We will be right back here live after the national anthem, ladies and gentlemen. It's not Norman. It's not? They're green and white. Oh, shit. They're kneeling?
He's called them fucking niggers right at that moment.
It's their ass, dude. Are you serious? That's Midwest City, man. Kneeling. Isn't it? Huh? Norman. Okay. I hope they lose.
Fuck them. I hope they lose.
Come on, Midwest City. They're going to kneel like that? Hell no. They even split the flag? Come on, Mark.
You called them fucking niggers again. All right. So they cut the feed. But yeah, man. So this this radio announcer called these young basketball players fucking niggers because they kneeled during the national anthem at a high school basketball game, right? That's what we're doing. We get the story here. Like I said, this comes out of TMZ. It said the man who made the racist comments is apologizing for his words and chalking the whole thing up. Now hold on. Y'all ain't gonna believe this shit. The reason why this motherfucker decided that he called them fucking niggers and he hoped they lost because they kneeled during the national anthem is because his diabetes was acting up.
God damn!
No. Dead ass. He's saying that the reason why he called these young girls niggas, these fucking niggas, is because his sugars was high. His fucking sugar was high. So let me read the story. It says, we spoke with 44-year-old Matt Rowan, who admits it's his voice making the insanely offensive comments about the girls' basketball team while they were kneeling for the national anthem. I will state that I suffer. Wait, hold on. Let me do this right. I will state that I suffer from type 1 diabetes, and during the game, my sugar was spiking, Rowan said in the statement. While not excusing my remarks, it is not unusual when my sugar spikes that I become disoriented and often say things that are not appropriate as well as hurtful. I do not believe that I would have made such horrible statements absent my sugar spiking. This motherfucker really decided that because he got diabetes, that his diabetes made him racist, bro. nigga. I become racist when my sugars get low. Suddenly, everybody's a nigga when my sugars get low. Come on, man. I done seen people blame racism on a whole lot of shit. But blaming your racism on your diabetes is a new one for me, man. He says, TMZ spoke with Rowan, who added, I'm absolutely speechless for my rhetoric. I want to offer my deepest apologies to these girls because I hurt them. The N-word should never be thought, much less uttered, much less muttered. Although I will say that I think that they are fucking niggers for kneeling during the national anthem at a high school basketball game. Now, it says the Oklahoma Secondary School Activities Association, which contracted the announcers for the game, announced Thursday night's broadcast crew has been pulled from the remainder of the tournament while it investigates the incident. Like, real talk, like what the fuck is there to be investigated? We know what the hell he said. He knows what the hell he said. What are y'all investigating? That he's racist? That we all know he is? Come on, man, y'all. Nowhere. I mean, nowhere could anybody get away with that shit. Well, you know, this is my sugars is fucking up. I get to be a dick when my sugars is spiking. I just need. Hey, it's almost like Snickers was right on the money with that commercial and shit. Like, unite yourself when you're hungry and shit, and you give a motherfucker a Snickers or whatever. Like, this nigga is like, is he opting for that? Like, he trying to be in the next Snickers commercial? Is that what this is? Is that what this is? So, no, it wasn't. Hold on, man. Hold on. Let me pull this up because Jack's in the chat room. It wasn't Bridgerton. It was like the Queen, or like it's a series on Netflix, but it ain't Bridgerton, man. We still talk about the goddamn royal family. We still talking about the goddamn royal family, but it wasn't Bridgerton, man. It was the Queen. I believe it was the Queen or like the Monarch or some shit. I started watching that shit. But yo, man. Oh man, that's been Blue Blazers, man.
What in Blue Blazers is going on out here? Did this nigga just say Blue Blazers?
But y'all know what time it is.
That I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
All right, that's enough of that shit. It's proud to be an American time here at the Spann Report podcast. And our first story here, and proud to be an American, is the family of George Floyd has actually reached a settlement with the city of Minneapolis to the tune of $27 million. Yeah, we read the story here. This comes out of BuzzFeedNews.com. It says the city of Minneapolis agreed to pay $27 million to George Floyd's family to settle a wrongful death lawsuit filed last July. The Minneapolis City Council unanimously voted to approve the settlement during a meeting Friday and the first week of jury selection on the ongoing criminal trial of Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis cop accused of killing Floyd last May. As part of the settlement agreement, $500,000 is to be used for the benefit of the community around 38th Street and Chicago Avenue, the site of Floyd's death that has now become widely known as George Floyd Square. No amount of money can ever address the pain, the intense pain or trauma caused by his death to George Floyd's family. excuse me, or to the people of our city. City Council President Lisa Bender said after the vote, Minneapolis has been fundamentally changed by this time of racial reckoning. This is deeply traumatic event that unfortunately is a part of too many Black and brown families' reality, City Council Vice President Andrea Jenkins said. As of Friday afternoon, 6 jurors have been selected to serve on the jury of Chauvin's criminal trial that began Monday amid heightened security in the city. He has been charged with second-degree murder, second-degree manslaughter, and third-degree murder. Last July, Benjamin Crump, an attorney for Floyd's family, filed a civil lawsuit alleging that Chauvin and the 3 other officers involved in Floyd's death violated his constitutional rights by using unjustified, excessive, and illegal and deadly use of force. The lawsuit also accused the Minneapolis Police Department and the city of acting with deliberate indifference and condoning unconstitutional police practices, which were the moving force behind George's death. Now, I'm gonna just say this, man, to my conservative friends who are possibly listening to the show and think that I'm constantly belittling y'all's train of thought and ways y'all think. I'm gonna just use y'all. I'm gonna use your principle here right now. Okay. If you don't want the government spending so much money, you're one of those fiscal conservatives. You want the government to be out of our lives as much as possible. You don't want to spend exorbitant amounts of money on the taxpayers' backs, right? If this is a principle that you believe in, then you should actually want police reform, because police actually are settling wrongful death, wrongful arrest. Like, they have so many lawsuits and settlements that they deal out or that they settle out that you should actually want the police to act right. You should want that, so as not to be a burden on the taxpayers' backs. So now the city of Minneapolis owes the George Floyd family, or owes the Floyd family $27 million because Derek Chauvin thought that he could actually get away with killing a Black man with his knee on his neck for 9 fucking minutes and nothing would come of it. If you are a fiscal conservative, if you believe that Blue Lives Matter and all, think about the amount of money that could have went to the police department. $27 million is a lot of money. Think about all the overtime they could have paid to the Minneapolis Police Department if you really believe in back in the blue. But instead, they have to pay that $27 million to this family because they wrongfully killed this man in their custody. But you're a fiscal conservative, right? If you really believe in fiscal conservatism, then hey, how about we actually put some motherfucking processes in place to where we hold police accountable, to where the city isn't accountable to pay out these levels of settlements to families who've lost a loved one because the police decided they want to act like goddamn Rambo on the citizens. Right? If you're really about that fiscal conservative life, especially when it concerns the government, city government, state government, federal government, if you're really about that life, then hey, man, let's hold these motherfuckers accountable when they cost us this sort of money, especially to the taxpayers who are on the hook now for $27 million to the George Floyd family. Right? Think about that. The next time you want to tout your conservative bona fides to your man Spann. That's in Proud to Be an American. Another story that we got here in Proud to Be an American is so we talked about this last week where where Texas and Mississippi were 2 of the first states who decided they were going to undo their mask mandate. They were going to you know what? No coronavirus restrictions, no mask mandate, open the states all the way the fuck up. Let's get our economy rolling again. Let's get these goddamn jobs rolling again, right? That's how they always promote it that way. Well, a Mexican restaurant in Texas decided that yo, man, we're not necessarily ready for a public that is not going to wear masks. We want to protect our folks. We want to protect our workers. We want to protect the people who come to our restaurant. And so a Mexican restaurant kept its mask rule. And as a reward for doing so, many of the people who patronized said restaurant decided that they were going to actually call ICE and threaten to call ICE on the staff of the restaurant because they asked them to keep their goddamn mask on.
Well, I'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
We get the story. This comes out of the WashingtonPost.com. It says, when the coronavirus pandemic hit and restaurant owners faced difficult decisions, the richest family that owns Picos, a Mexican restaurant in Houston, they quickly adapted to continuing sharing their Latin cuisine. They quickly adapted to continue sharing their Latin cuisine, from selling to-go margarita kits to stationing a mariachi band at the curbside pickup. This week, after Texas Governor Greg Abbott said Tuesday that he would rescind the statewide mask mandate while the vast majority of residents remain unvaccinated, the tough choice to enforce health guidance fell to business owners, and Picos announced that it would continue requiring masks. But after such a challenging year, the reaction to the decision was disheartening. Co-owner Monica Richards said several people sent hateful messages through social media and the restaurant and called the restaurant, threatened to report staffers to immigration and customs enforcement. It was just horrific, Richard said. People don't understand, unless you're in our business, what it felt like, how hard it was to go through everything we went through during COVID, for people to be negative towards us, for trying to remain safe so that it doesn't continue to happen, just makes zero sense to us. Abbott's decision to lift the mandate will make Texas the largest state to not require masks, which has not come easily for many businesses that are navigating enforcement mask rules to protect employees and customers while facing backlash. Masks, which health experts say are among the most effective ways to curb the coronavirus, have become a partisan symbol. One with conservative group planning a mass burning party for March 10th, the day the order is lifted. When the mandate is rescinded, the majority of Texas restaurant owners said they will continue requiring staff to wear masks, but they are split on making the same demands on customers, according to the Texas Restaurant Association, which informally surveyed its members this week. The association's updated guidance recommends that restaurants mandate employees wear masks and that encourages guests to do the same, spokeswoman Anna Talton said. So, listen, if you, again, conservatives, wear a fucking mask. It's not hard. It's not difficult. Excuse me. The fact that you have Americans who want authentic Mexican food. We go to a Mexican restaurant who's, a community, who's part of a community who's been largely hit by the coronavirus pandemic. And they want to wear masks. They want to be safe. They want to serve you, but they also want to be safe. And you would go to that establishment and say that because they want to wear a mask that's un-American, and I will report you to ICE. I will threaten you with ICE to get you thrown out of here because you have the audacity to want to be safe in your fucking work environment. I'm not saying that like conservatives are like racist or anything, or like, oblivious to some of their privileges and stuff, but I mean, who you think is the ones threatening to call ICE? And it kind of reminds me a little bit of some of the things that are going on here in Michigan right now, where in like there's a bit of a pushback as to how the coronavirus vaccine is being distributed, right? So the Detroit area has been getting a large amount of the coronavirus vaccine here in the state of Michigan. And Republicans, we talked about this last week. Republicans were like, yo, man, we want to kind of get away from the whole socioeconomic, whatever metric, the metrics that you're using in order to give, a disproportionate amount of the coronavirus vaccine to Wayne County and the Detroit area, because we believe that none of those things should actually come into play. We believe that the coronavirus vaccine should go to every part of the state because everybody should be, it should be available to everybody, despite the fact that the Detroit area and Wayne County area was hit the hardest by the coronavirus vaccine. because when folks found out that this was the hot spot, where like the Detroit area was a hot spot, and a lot of urban areas, is even down in Texas, where there were brown and black folks who were being disproportionately affected by the coronavirus pandemic. Where I just know here in Michigan, where when they found out that the black people and the brown people in Wayne County and the Detroit area were being hit hardest, there were calls for the rest of the state to be like, yo, man, while we on lockdown, we don't have these same level of fucking infections that they got down here. We should be able to operate as openly as we want to be. We don't have these same level of, we shouldn't be subject to the same level of restrictions that they got down there. Right? And then when the vaccine came out, and suddenly the Detroit area and the Wayne County area was being sent a vast majority of the coronavirus vaccine, suddenly these same people who didn't want the restrictions wanted that goddamn vaccine and were upset at the fact that the vast majority of those vaccines were being sent at the hardest hit areas. Right? So when you think about Texas, where their governor is, opening up the state, science be damned, right? Opening up the state, science be damned. Where you have an attitude of a good portion of Texans who believe that the COVID vaccine shouldn't be used or isn't useful, despite the fact that the president that they supported or the ex-president that they supported actually got vaccinated in January and didn't tell their asses. Where, the black and brown community is also being disproportionately affected by the coronavirus pandemic, and they want to be safe at work, and you got people threatening to call immigration on them? Come on, man. That sounds like some pretty Republican shit. I mean, it just do. It sounds like some pretty Republican shit, man. So, yeah, man. It belongs in Proud to be an American because it fits like the American ethos of, God bless America and no place else, so to speak. All right. So, yeah, man, that's the Proud to be an American. And our last story here in Proud to be an American. So we get this story here. This comes out of the Washington Post, but one of the Capitol rioters, one of the people who broke into the Capitol, one of the people who assaulted police officers, one of the people who disrespected the nation's, Capitol. She wants her trial moved. Her name is Jenny Chud. She wants her trial moved from DC to West Texas because she believes that she believes that Washington, D.C. is too anti-Trump and too politically correct to give her a goddamn fair trial. Yeah, man. This is also coming from the same woman who requested a trip to Mexico that she already had planned as a bonding trip with her goddamn employees, and the judge allowed her to fucking go, man.
That'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
Yeah, we get the story here. This also comes out of the Washington Post. It says an attorney for a woman who bragged in a Facebook live stream about storming the U.S. Capitol on January 6th asked federal judge Wednesday to move her case from Washington to near her home in Western Texas, saying a more Republican-friendly jury would decide her guilt or innocence more fairly. Jenny Chud, a 36-year-old florist and former mayoral candidate from Midland, Texas, has been indicted on 5 counts of including obstruction of an official proceeding, trespassing, disorderly conduct, and parading. Disorderly conduct and parading, demonstrating, or picketing in the Capitol building. Pretrial publicity and community prejudice in Washington, D.C. is so likely to have affected the jury pool that the entire panel must be presumed as tainted, Chud's attorney, Maria Medvin, argued. The facts of this case center around Donald Trump and his supporters. The evidence in this case is emotionally political in every aspect, the Alexandria attorney wrote. But the jury who would hear the facts in Washington, D.C. is most politically prejudiced, is the most politically prejudiced in the entire country against Trump. Chud, the co-defendant Aleo Rosa, were charged January 12th and arrested a week after the riot that left 5 dead, forced the evacuation of the Capitol, and disrupted Congress's confirmation of the presidential election. Cut faces charges that carry a maximum of 20 years in prison. So I'm just gonna say this. Lock the asses up. Like, real talk. Lock the asses up. As a matter of fact, it really should be, not only should she be,
You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job.
she should not only lose her job, but she should also the fact that she's able to like stand up with a straight face and say that because she put that aside. I'm sorry. The crime happened in Washington, D.C. That's where she should be tried because that's where the crime happened at, in Washington, D.C. Now, whether or not you believe that the Washington, D.C. is like whether you go to, like, there's a whole bunch of like different places in America who like, yo, man, you really, you did that shit. You went on social media and you did that shit. Lock the asses up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just lock her up. Just lock her up. I'm tired. I'm tired, man. Lock her ass up, man. It's time for us to get to the champ of the week.
The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here.
All right. It's champ of the week time here at the Spann Report podcast, man. Real talk. And our champ of the week this week are the people who are willing to get their COVID-19 vaccines, man. At this point, like I said, the Biden administration has mandated that all states make eligible anyone 18 or over to get the COVID-19 vaccine. And I am halfway through my vaccination process. I get my second shot on the 18th of this month. Kind of can't wait for this process to be over with. But also, I want to be able to do some of the shit that I used to be able to do before COVID-19 ever became a thing in our lives. And I know a lot of folks are, I know some folks who are skeptical about the process of getting the COVID-19 vaccine. I got family members who are like reals, who don't want to get it, who don't want to get the shot. And I'm like, where did you get this sort of like thinking from? Social media has a lot to do with that. But I want a level of normalcy back. I want to be able to go to a movie. I want to be able to go to a restaurant. I want to be able to go to an event and not have to worry about wearing a mask. I'm not one of those folks who like, man, you know what, man? I ain't been sick since this whole COVID shit happened, man. I'm gonna wear a mask the whole time. And I'm like, I ain't one of those folks, but I'm sick of this shit. I hate wearing fucking masks, bro. I'm tired of doing it. And if enough of us actually get out and take the fucking shot, man, and get the shot when we have an opportunity to get it, so that we can get back to some level of normalcy, get back to kicking it with our loved ones, get back to doing shit like going to the movies, get back to going to like a restaurant and having a nice dinner, get back to traveling, to get back to that, to have an opportunity to get back to that this year, man. We could do that shit but before the end of the fucking summer. We can have that shit if enough of us stepped up and did what we needed to do, as opposed to being a goddamn contrarian for contrary's sake and listening to niggas who used to copy off our goddamn science homework. I need us to get back to some level of normalcy for everybody's sanity, including my own. So for those of you right now who are willing to go ahead and get you at least your first COVID-19 vaccine shot. I salute you. And you are the champ of the week this week here at the Spann Report Podcast, man. Real talk. But I've been running my mouth for 2 hours and 10 minutes, man. It's time for me to get on up out of here. But of course, before I do, I got to remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast and let your voice be heard, man. Go ahead and hit up that hotline. Area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages. Those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. And if you're watching us here live on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch, you can also chop it up with your man Spann live as we're doing the show. So that's area code 313-288-0485. You can also email us here at feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Go ahead, leave us those emails. And of course, those emails will get read here and reply to here live on the show as well. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead and follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. You can also leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and or Stitcher Radio. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get read here live on the show. We appreciate everybody who goes about the business of doing that. It doesn't cost you a dime, man. Just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. Real talk. And yo, man, hit up our website, www.thespannreport.com. You can go there, watch replays of the show. You can donate to the show as often as you like, as much as you like. And of course, we appreciate every dime over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. Real talk. I'm tired, man. Y'all can tell. I'm sure y'all can tell. I'm tired. I will talk to you guys again soon. But until next time, fam, peace.